Hey guys, welcome back to the coop. It's getting about that time. It's getting close to molting season for your chickens, your backyard chickens. So today we're going to be covering all things that pertain to molting season and getting you prepared and getting you ready and kind of educating you on what to expect. Molting is primarily triggered by the changes in daylight. As we're going through the shift and the change of seasons and into late summer and early fall, as everyone knows, the days get shorter. And this actually triggers in a chicken's brain to change hormone production. And one major change is a drop in prolactin, which is a huge player in egg production. With less prolactin, hens naturally slow down the process of producing eggs so that their bodies can shift to producing and putting on new feathers for the winter. This is a completely natural process that is necessary for chickens, especially those in extreme winter climates. Molting usually follows a very predictable pattern on the chicken themselves. It usually starts at the head and then to the neck and then on to the breast, the back, and the wings and the tail. Usually that's the start, and it goes all the way down the body of the chicken. And that's usually another way that you can definitely know that it's molting and not a condition with your chicken. Molting always follows that pattern, whereas if it's feather picking or a sign that you have too many roosters with your hens or mites, it's more of a random feather loss versus the molt. Let's look at ways to tell for sure that it is your chickens going, that they are going through the molting process. One, again, is that pattern of feather loss. You will also notice in the bare spots where they've lost their feathers, they'll start getting little small pin feathers, which are very small, little prickly, kind of like the shafts of the feathers coming through their skin. And these are very touchy and can be painful to the chickens, so it's imperative that during this molting time that you're not excessively handling your chickens or picking them up. It's best just to let them be, because those little pin feathers coming through can be very painful for them. You may also notice that their combs and wattles are more dull. They're not a bright red, which is a sign, as many of you know, when your young pullets are getting ready to start laying, their combs and wattles will turn a bright red, letting you know that they are at their peak of egg production, and they will start laying, and they will remain a vibrant red during their whole laying duration. So when you start to notice that they have little duller combs and wattles, that bright red's not there, that's another good sign that it could be entering into molting season for your chickens or for your hens. Dull combs and wattles can also be sign of illness or sickness in your birds also. So that's not it's more that all of these things in combination suggest that it is molting season. Number one, the time of the year, late summer, early fall, when the days start getting shorter, this is what triggers it. The feather loss pattern, from the top of the head all the way down to the tail, in that order. The tiny pin feathers coming through where the feathers have been lost, the duller color in their wattles and combs. And also you will see slowed or completely stopped egg production. A full molt can last anywhere between 8 to 16 weeks. There's a lot of variables in there, including the age and the breed of your birds. During this time, if you have some birds that are very sociable, come up to you, are very interactive with you, you may see that kind of drop a little bit during molting season. They may be a little less engaging, a little more reserved, not quite as active But it's important to understand and just remember that this is a very strenuous and stressful time for these birds, because they're putting all of their energy into the regrowth of those new feathers. And it can take the wind out of their sails sometimes, and it can leave them looking a little ragged. But it's nothing to be alarmed about, as long as you are satisfied that it is the right time of the year, and you've confirmed that they are going through molt. Let's talk about some ways to help your birds through the molting season. Nutrition is top of the list. Feathers are made up of 85 to 90% protein. So it is imperative that you increase the amount of protein that your birds are getting. There's several feeds on the market that are designed to feed during this time, during molting season, to help the regrowth of feathers and to keep your birds healthy. Most of your standard layer feeds are around 16%, but during this time you want to definitely increase that between 18 and 20%. This again will help your birds have the nutrients that they need to get that regrowth of those new feathers, and also relieve some of the stress on their body during this time. Now that we've covered the main layer feed percentages, let's talk about some supportive treats that you can also give your flock. You can give them mealworms, sunflower seed, peas. You can feed them scrambled eggs, or you can feed them my favorite by far, Grubterra black soldier fly larva. Let me explain to you why this is my go-to during molting season. Black soldier fly larva has 75% more calcium than mealworms alone. That's a huge plus right off the bat. They're also 34% crude protein, which helps during this time in the feather production. It's just a tremendously nutritious treat for your flock during this stressful time. The increase in the calcium, like I said, 75% more than mealworms, can help them continue laying through the molting season. I like to just sprinkle some out on the ground when I come in to the coop to collect eggs. They go crazy over these things. And I love Grubterra as a company because they are very environmental friendly. Every 1 pound of Grubterra's dried black soldier fly larva equals 20 pounds of food waste saved from landfills. They also offer various different sizes. This is a 1 pound bag. They have 5 pound, they have 10 pound, and I'm pretty sure they have 20 or 25 pound bags also. You can double check me on that. But I will link this up in the top right hand corner, and it'll also be in the description below. If you guys want to check out Grubterra, highly recommend them. Okay, now let's talk about environmental factors that you can do to help them out during this time. Once they lose majority of their feathers, you want to keep them as draft free as possible during those colder months until they get those new feathers to keep them warm. Again, you don't want to completely do away with all their ventilation. Ventilation is very important and very necessary in any coop, so keep that in mind. You also want to keep fresh bedding down so that there's no added irritation to their bare skin and those pin feathers. Like I told you, that's a very tender time for their skin. It'll also help reduce the ammonia that can again irritate their skin. You also want to provide them a dust bath, because that can also help comfort and soothe their skin during this time. We've talked in the past about my go-to is diatomaceous earth if I have them in a situation where they don't have a natural dirt floor. Majority of the time mine do, and that's where they do their dust bathing, is just in the natural dirt. My soil type here is very powdery fine soil, so it serves perfectly for the dust bathing. But if you don't have that, again, my suggestion would be a diatomaceous earth, or you can use potash. Either way, and just fix them a little dust bath area, whether you use like one of those blue the plastic swimming pools, or you just create them some kind of container that they can get in and dust. You can also offer your birds supplements during this time. Poultry Nutri-Drench, that's hard to say, is a great thing to add to their water during this time. You can also provide them with electrolytes. But the main takeaway is just to remember that this is a stressful time for your birds, and try to do what you can to help alleviate some of that by the things that I mentioned. Of course, nutrition being number one, to up their protein. You also want to offer more calcium, whether that be free choice oyster shells or, like I mentioned, those treats. Again, mine and go-to is the Grub Terra black soldier fly larva, because it's high in protein and it also has 75% more calcium than the mealworms, the traditional mealworms. Sunflower seeds, again, is another thing that you can add to their layer feed. You want to keep them comfortable with fresh bedding, provide the dust baths, also keep them draft free as much as possible. But I guess that about wraps it up, guys. I hope this video has helped clarify the whole molting process that your chickens will naturally go through. I hope these tips will help you out. Until next time, guys, take care. Thanks for watching.